Okay, today we are going to continue from where we left off, the review of the halachas of mincha in Simin Reish Sadi Beis, and we will conclude the Simin today, Amir Hashem. Okay, we are going to start from where we left off, page 6 of this document that I made summarizing this siman and all of the relevant halachas. Shmona Esrei, for Shabbos Mincha, Shmona Esrei, the first and last three brachas of Shmona Esrei are identical to the weekday Shmona Esrei. In between the first and last three brachas of Shmona Esrei, we say Ata Echad, which discusses the holiness of the day. Someone who didn't daven mincha or said a weekday Shemona Esrei. Torah says that someone who made a mistake and didn't daven mincha on Shabbos should daven Motzei Shabbos 2 weekday Shemona Esreis. He should say Havdalah in the first one, the obligatory Shemona Esrei, but not the second one, the makeup Shemona Esrei. Someone who didn't say Havdalah in the first Shemona Esrei, but said Havdalah in the second Shemona Esrei. Okay, so now we're talking about something which anyone who just learns the Mishnah Berurah will know nothing about. Okay, the truth of the matter is this comes up in Siman Kuf Ches. It doesn't really come up in our Siman so much, but nevertheless, the Torah quotes it in our Siman. And he says like this: if you made a mistake and didn't daven Mincha on Shabbos, all right, so he should daven Moshe Shabbos 2 weekday Shemona Esrei, Havdalah in the first, not in the second, because the first is the obligatory Shemona Esrei, unlike the second. Okay, if you said it in the first Shemona Esrei, the Havdalah, but not the second Shemona Esrei, you wouldn't fulfill your obligation of the first Shemona Esrei. The second Shemona Esrei would still count. Why? The answer is because since he didn't do Havdalah in the first Shemona Esrei, he showed that he believed that the first Shemona Esrei was the makeup Shemona Esrei. Since the makeup Shemona Esrei comes second, he wouldn't fulfill his obligation at all of the first one. Therefore, he fulfills his obligation with the second Shemona Esrei, must have a third time in order to make up the Shabbos Shemona Esrei that he missed. Okay, let's say someone who says Havdalah in both Shemona Esreis, or if he didn't say Havdalah in either Shemona Esrei, he would fulfill his obligation in both Shemona Esreis. This is straight out of the Gemara and Maseches Brachos in the fourth parak over there on where this is discussed. Chaf of Amud Beis, top of the Amud. This refers to someone who didn't daven Mincha on Shabbos. However, what would the halacha be if someone made a mistake and daven a weekday Shemona Esrei during Shabbos Mincha? Great question. According to Rabbi Yehuda, even though he didn't fulfill his obligation, and if he remembered while it was still Shabbos, he would need to daven the Shabbos Shemona Esrei. Nevertheless, after Shabbos, he should not go back and daven again. Okay?
Wait, how far can you get?
So this guy over here, all right, he made a mistake. He realized after Shemona Esrei, let's say, that he davened the weekday Shemona Esrei on Shabbos. Okay, so if it's still Shabbos when he remembered, so he goes back and he says the Shabbos Shemona Esrei again. That's fine. The question is, after Shabbos, does he go back again? So according to Rabbi Yehuda, he would not go back because what's he gonna gain by saying by making up the Shabbos Shemona Esrei that he missed after Shabbos? As we know, the Tashlum and the makeup Shemona Esrei is identical to the Chayva, to the obligatory Shemona Esrei, and therefore his Shemona Esrei that he's going to make up, so to say, for Shabbos is going to be identical to a weekday Shemona Esrei. However, according to the wise people of Provincia, since he didn't fill his obligation, is considered as if he didn't daven at all. Command the Lord his palul dummy, and he needs to say 2 Shemona Esreis after Shabbos, even though it's going to be a weekday Shemona Esrei. Rabbeinu Yonah says that it's good to cover both opinions and daven after Shabbos a voluntary Shemona Esrei or nadava. Now, even though we don't do nadavas nowadays, nevertheless, this could be done, especially according to the Chachmei Provincia, because they have to go back anyways. Questions, comments?
According to the first opinion,
Rabbi Yehuda.
that says that you don't, after Shabbos, you don't go back because you did accomplish something.
Yes.
Is that you did accomplish something, or is that you didn't accomplish anything and that
you didn't accomplish anything, but you're not going to accomplish anything by going back? So what's the point? Two wrongs don't make a right.
It's only talking about ones, but ones, right?
The whole case is b'shoigig. It's not bonus. Could be onus also. Yeah.
So then,
extend it to onus.
So we're saying that if you daven a regular mincha Shemona Esrei, it accomplishes nothing. It's like you.
Exactly. What's it going to accomplish? You're not doing a Shabbos one.
Okay, no, just
Okay, is Shemona Esrei more important than laning? You should rephrase this title to is mincha Shemona Esrei more important? Is Shemona Esrei more important than mincha Shabbos laning? But okay. Nishma Shabbos rules that if it is close to sunset, one should daven Shemona Esrei and then lane after. Furthermore, if it is so late that there isn't enough time to lane and daven Shemona Esrei, one should daven Shemona Esrei and not lane. Why? Most people have no clue. This is the halacha, even though one wouldn't be able to lane at all. One might have thought that one should lane and daven Shemona Esrei later by making up by having a makeup Shemona Esrei tashlumin. Even so, Shemona Esrei should be said and skip laning, since laning during Shabbos Mincha isn't a full-fledged obligation. Laning during Shabbos Mincha was only enacted for the Yoshvi Koronos. See the section above, laning, where we discuss more details. Sidkoscha. Tur says that when there's no tachnun on Sunday, Sidkoscha shouldn't be said. Shulchan Aruch says that if it would be during the week that we wouldn't say tachnun, for example, because it is Rosh Chodesh, then Sidkoscha shouldn't be said. If it would be during the week. Mishnah Berurah relates that we say Tzedakah on Shabbos because Yosef, Moshe, and David died on Shabbos. The following are times when we don't say Tzedakah. This is a brief list, nice to have in your back pocket. The entire month of Nisan, we do not say Tzidkoscha. Erev Tisha B'Av and Tisha B'Av, we do not say Tzidkoscha. If you look in footnote 33, this is the Shulchan Aruch in Simin Tov Kuf Nun Tes Sif Aleph, the Ramah. Also in Simin Tov Kuf Nun Beis Sif Beis, Tisha B'Av is called a Moed, a holiday. From Yom Kippur until Sukkot, we don't say Tachnun, we don't say Tzidkoscha. Erev Chanukah and Chanukah itself, we don't say Tachnun and we do not say Tzidkoscha. Erev Purim and Purim Katan. Rosh Chodesh. Yom Kippur. Okay. When a chosen during Sheva Brachos is in shul. Now, we should highlight over here that this is during Sheva Brachos. A lot of times, people think chosen comes into shul and he's getting married that night. You don't say Tachnun Mincha. That's not true. But we're going to learn about that when we learn Hilchos Tachnun, and that's an important mistake that sometimes people make. So they have to be during Sheva Brachos. Then you don't say Sidchascha. Furthermore, at a Shabbos Ofruf, you would say Sidchascha. Okay? That should be pointed out. Moel, Sandik, or father whose son had a bris Shabbos morning. They wouldn't say Sidkoscha if they were at a mincha minyan on Shabbos, but the rest of the minyan would. So this is unique because every other case, no one would say Sidkoscha. This case specifically, these three individuals wouldn't say Sidkoscha.
if Pesach Sheni or Tu B'Shvat would fall out on Shabbos.
Pesach Sheni, where we wouldn't say Tachnun, or Tu B'Shvat would fall out on Shabbos.
I don't know if Tu B'Shvat ever falls out on Shabbos. I don't.
If it would come out, then we would not say Sidkoscha. Pesach Sheni, 15th of Shivat. Because he won't say Taftan on those days.
Right, I don't know if it happens, so it's possible.
Pesach Sheni, Tu B'Shvat. This is going to want to capitalize that, yeah.
I guess the Sheni has an extra N at the end.
Oh, sure. Okay. Get that feature. I wish I could get that feature without having to right click. Takes so much less time. Okay, okay. The sources of all of these rulings are in footnotes 35 to around 40 over here, and it should be pointed out that in the cases of Rosh Chodesh and Yom Kippur, Sfardim would hold that Tzidkoscha should, in fact, be said. That's according to Shulchan Aruch. Furthermore, yeah. According to Svardim, Sidkoscha is not said in a house of mourning, a base Avel. A very relevant question and situation that could arise is if a chazan made a mistake and he began Kaddish when he was supposed to say Sidkoscha. So if he said the first four words of Kaddish, you have to finish the Kaddish. And then you say Sidkoscha after Kaddish and before Aleinu, and you go straight into Aleinu. This is a halacha that I feel like no one really knows. People might say half a Kaddish, stop in the middle. You know, they're totally doing the wrong thing. People think you can't say Sidkoscha after Kaddish. You could. Okay? So these types of halachas are the technical halachas that no one really knows exist, and people are kind of just making up what they think is right, but it's really wrong. So this is a very important halacha to know and carve into your mind for life. Because I'm guarantee everyone over here that's here is going to encounter a situation at least a few times throughout their lives when a chazan's going to mess up and do this. You got to tell him in the middle of Kaddish when he thinks about saying Sidkoscha in the middle, finish Kaddish, you'll do Sidkoscha after. Okay? Fine. Good. Moving right along. Talk about learning in between mincha and by the way, what is the source of this halacha? It's explicit in the Ksois HaShulchan, Siman Sadi Aleph, footnote 6, Rav Chaim Noah. Is it permissible to learn in between mincha and Marav on Shabbos? This is one of those shilas that it's not a yes or no answer. Sometimes you see people ask shilas, they get a yes or no. You're wrong, whatever you said, because it's not yes or no. The answer is it depends. Okay. Torah says that the custom is not to establish a learning session, koivin medrash, between Mincha and Marav, because it's the time when Moshe died, and when a Torah scholar dies, everyone must stop learning. Other people also died then. This refers to a public learning session with many people. Having a chavrusa or learning individually is permissible. Okay? So, fine. That's one point. Point two. Mishnah Berurah specifies that this only applies near the time when it is dark. Mishnah Berurah then relates that many times the Maharal would give a drasha between Mincha and Marav. Therefore, nowadays one should not refrain from this. Furthermore, due to our iniquities in some places, people sit in the base magistrate converse about nothing. It is certainly better to listen to Musar than talk about nothing of importance. Exclamation point. This Shabbos relates that people have shalashidus in shul. The Rav says Torah. Teaching Torah during shalosh is permissible. In other words, look, this whole discussion with the learning, you've got to know your audience. You got to know what's going on. It's definitely better to learn than just to sit around and talk. There's different levels. Seems like the worst level is a shear, and then everything else is really fine.
Like
if it's within shalosh, it's fine. Sounds like the Maharal even was lenient. So there's leniencies all over, and that's basically the story over there. Okay, so that's the learning. Pirkei Avos. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this review up with a slight deep dive on Pirkei Avos over here. Number one, when should we learn Pirkei Avos in general? Number two, why is there custom to learn Avos between Pesach and Shavuos? Number three, why is there custom to learn Avos after Mincha? When should we learn Avos? Torah says that the custom in Ashkenaz provinces is to say Pirkei Avos by Mincha and Shabbos. Why? Why Shabbos? Why Mincha? It is interesting to point out that the Ramah relates that there is a custom to learn Pirkei Avos in the summer. However, many relate that there is a custom to learn Pirkei Avos between Pesach and Shavuos. There's around 10 different customs. Look in the footnotes in those Vahadar Mishnah Berurah. Around 10 different customs as to when to learn Pirkei Avos. Okay, the famous ones are this Torah right over here. Okay, Mincha and Shabbos. The Ramah says that there's a custom to learn Pirkei Avos in the summer. That's in our simon. Many say there's a custom to learn Pirkei Avos between Pesach and Shavuos. Okay, summer versus Pesach and Shavuos. Those are the popular customs to learn Pirkei Avos. Take a look at footnote 46. Medrash Shmuel, in his introduction to Pirkei Avos, the Yabitz, Abujam, many others say this. Say what? Say that there is a custom to learn Pirkei Avos in between Pesach and Shavuos. A lot of reasons behind that. The Kolbo in Siman Mem relates that some have the custom to learn Pirkei Avos from Parshas Yisro until Parshas Masai. There are other Svarim which relate many other customs when to say Pirkei Avos. Okay, it's close to a dozen different customs. Lavush, the Talmud Muvak, the top student of the Ramah in Hilchos Ma'ariv, the next Siman Reish Tzadi Gimel Sif Daled says that the main custom, according to everyone, is to learn Pirkei Avos between Pesach and Shavuos. People decided, Pirkei Avos is so delicious. It's so enjoyable. How could I put it down? And they said, you know what? Let's just continue to learn Pirkei Avos even after Shavuos. What a beautiful lavash. Another interesting point is that some say that the whole 6 parak of Avos, whoa. Sorry. Of Avos was only added in order that, see, why is it picking up on the spell check of parak over here, but not over here? It's a mistake. Was only added in order that there will be a parak to learn each week in between Pesach and Shavuos. Anyone who knows Pirkei Avos realizes that the 6th parak is not Mishayos, it's not part of Pirkei Avos, it's brises that were added later to the 6th parak. The question is why. One explanation is so that you could get one parak every single week in between Shavuos and Pesach and Shavuos. They did entertain the possibility of finishing the Pirkei Avos on a weekly basis every single week, but they nixed that. They said better to get quality over quantity, which is kind of interesting because there was also they also potentially entertained the possibility as well of finishing the whole Torah every 3 years, not 1 year, and we decided to do every 1 year, which is perhaps quantity over quality, one could argue. But nevertheless, it is what it is. That's the intro. Why is there a custom to learn Avos between Pesach and Shavuos? There are dozens. There's so many reasons on this. All right, we'll quote some of the nice ones. Some of them. We'll quote some of them over here. Okay, three basic reasons. Lavush. This Lavush is in the next siman. Okay, siman Tafsad, the Gimel where he talks about it, Sif Dalit over there. That Avos deals with Musar, meaning rebuke and ethics. I wonder if this is a typo. They should really say Reish Sadi Beis.
Sadi Gimel, you mean?
Yeah, no, it shouldn't say Gimel because we're in Beis. I wonder if
because you said the Lush Tega goes in the next sentence.
It wouldn't be. Why would it be in Hilchos Ma'ariv? It's only why I'm questioning as to whether this is a typo or not. Can't be in this siman because there's no Oz Dalid. Okay, I guess it's in the next siman. Yeah, I guess in the next siman. Okay, so here let's get something interesting. Lavush relates to the Avos. What?
Reish would be 200, right?
Yeah, that's what we're in.
Is that with the footnote? What the footnote say?
Oh, yeah. Oh, excuse me. Not in Reish. In Tuf Sadi Gimel. Sorry, that's I was misquoting my head. Sorry, Tuf Sadi Gimel. It's in Tuf Sadi Gimel. No. We learned together, remember, Tuf Sadi Dal is also Shavuos. Tuf Sadi Gimel, Tuf Pei Tes is Sfiras Omer. Tuf Sadi Gimel is the Sfiras Omer, but not the actual counting of the Omer, the halachas of the actual Sfira itself, what you can do, what you can't do with simchas and everything. So it's over there because it talks about Avos and Sfira. Okay, all right, very good. Lavush relates that the Avos, Pirkei Avos, deals with Musar, rebuke, ethics, common etiquette, derech eretz kamal Torah, which we must accept on ourselves during the period between Pesach and Shavuos, the time when we receive the Torah. It's Matan Torah at Shavuos. Ma'am Loez provides a similar answer with the twist. During these holy days of Siddur, we know that we had the 24,000 Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva who died. A lot of explanations why they die. If you don't honor someone, you're not liable to die. These are days of strict judgment. Then, Avos will be better received. People will listen to it more during this time period. Answer 1. Answer 2. The Abit relates that the Torah will only survive, dwell within a person who perfected his midos. Got to get those characters traits, get everything perfect. This idea ties into, no one knows where this is. Derech Eretz Kabbalah Torah. Where does it say that in Ol Chazal? There's no Gemara, not Shas Bavli, not Yerushalmi. It's a Vayikra Rabba. The Vayikra Rabba says, Derech Eretz Kadmo L'Torah in Parsha Tes Os Gimel. The person's just learning Torah, but he's acting like someone who's very low, and he's not being proper. He's not being kind to people. He's not being nice. Then what's the Torah Hakadosh worth, so to say? If you're just gonna learn it and not follow it, what's it worth? The Torah is only given to a person after he reaches shleimus in his midos, completeness with his characteristic traits. Similarly, Rabbi Karellenstein in his Kuntres Binyani Chodesh Nisan v'Chag Pesach, page 116, relates that the mission of states, "Imein derech eretz ein Torah." If you don't have this derech eretz, many ways of translating the word derech eretz. Simple explanation is good characteristic traits, then you don't have Torah. Rabbeinu Yonu explains that one first needs to perfect his midos, and then the Torah will be able to dwell within him. The Torah doesn't dwell within someone who doesn't have good midos. Gotta have good characteristic traits. Rabbi Shmuel Rosovsky explains that according to this Rabbeinu Yonu, having good midos is considered creating a vessel to understand the Torah. Without a vessel, you're not able to gather Torah. You don't have a bag, you can't put all the cash in the bag. You can't put all the gold bars in the bag. You need something to put it in. Answer 3. Medrash Shmuel explains that after Pesach it begins getting warmer. This awakens within people a physical desire. The evil inclination begins to strengthen itself. Learning Maseches Avos will combat the evil inclination. 100% true. Flowers start blossoming, every budding, bubbling up. Why is there custom to learn Avos after mincha? According to everything that we just said, who cares? Why does it need to be after mincha? Good question. Lavush says that the main custom, according to everyone, is to learn Avos between Pesach and Shavuos. However, people decided that they want to continue learning Avos even after Shavuos. Okay, that doesn't really explain why after mincha, number one. Number two is that we already quoted that one. Probably nixed that answer. Okay, Lakuti apart that's from Rashi and Shibuli Aleket explained that Avos begins with Moshe accepting the Torah from Sinai. We therefore want to discuss Moshe's honor who passed away during mincha time on Shabbos. That makes sense. This is similar to speaking about about a deceased person's good deeds. One fit there. Need one more letter. Okay, Matsovich explains that we learn how to fear Hashem and good midos from Avos. The Gemara says that someone who wants to be pious should fulfill what it says in Avos. The custom, developed to learn Avos between Mincha and Mara because there were unlearned people in Shul than for Mincha and Laning. Rabbis therefore wanted them to learn about the good midos that are mentioned in Avos. Similarly, the Minhagim de Bey Maharam Rutenberg says that Avos helps bring the hearts of the Yoshvi Koronas closer to Torah and Hashem. Parenthetically, Torah says that Sfardim have the custom to learn Avos Shabbos morning. It must be that Sfardim hold of this reason, bringing the hearts of the Yoshvi Koronas closer to Torah and Hashem, not the reasoning of morning Moshe. Good point. Sefer Amanik says that the custom to learn Avos during the summer because the days, quote, are long and people aren't working. This seems to go with the Yoshvi Koronos reason. Maharal says that during the winter, people's minds aren't clear. What's the apostrophe? Learning Torah requires clearness. I don't like that word.
Clarity.
Requires a clear mind. Mindset. As stated in the Gemara, similarly, learning in depth on Shabbos could be considered nullifying Oneg Shabbos. See writings at Siman 291. Reishad the Alf, the Gemara relates to Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish only got it on Shabbos. Answer 6, why we learn Pirkei Avos specifically during Mincha time. Which really isn't a full 6th answer, because some of them were nixed, but okay. Answer 6. Chassam Sofer explains that Matan Torah began with the Exodus and completed on Yom Kippur when we received the Torah, the second Luchos, rather. We therefore learn about Avos, which discusses the history of the transferring of the Torah, beginning with Hashem giving the Torah to Moshe.
It doesn't say anything about mincha, does it?
Nothing. I think that this should really be discussed.
Why are we between Pesach and Shavuos?
Yeah. That should be and completed on no Yom Kippur. Why is the custom to learn on the summer? There should be a third section here. Why is there a custom to learn it during the summer? So this has to be fixed. I have to fix it later. Some of these apply summer. There has to be a third section over here. I was caught off guard there. I'll fix that later. Nishma Shabbos is custom. Pirkei Avos couldn't be learned during the Suda Shabbos morning when one's family. He discussed that Pirkei Avos could be learned during the Suda Shabbos morning while one's family is around. According to many of the reasons for learning Avos during the summertime, Avos can be learned anytime. However, according to some of the reasons for learning Avos during the summer, Avos can only be learned during mincha time. Look at Yosher says that since he isn't a Yoshvi Koronos, he didn't learn Avos. Yeah, that was funny to see that first time. Why is it custom to learn Pirkei Avos? It has to be changed during the summer and after Mincha. Finish. All right. That look at Yosher is fascinating, saying that he wasn't a Yoshvi Koronos and therefore he could whatever. So, yeah, why is there a custom to learn Pirkei Avos? Put it right there. Finished. Where's your custom to learn? Okay, good. Now, because of those 10 seconds, I don't have homework. Okay, so now miscellaneous. The Chuvas Van Hagos relates to some people try to be chazan during mincha in order that they complete saying 100 brachos on Shabbos. Good point. Miscellaneous. Miscellaneous number 2, Nishma Shabbos relates that there is a custom not to say good Shabbos or shalom after sunset before Shabbos ends. It could be that the reason for this is because of the morning of Moshe. This is similar to not establishing a learning session, kaif and medrash between Mincha and Mar, because at the time when Moshe died and when a Torah scholar dies, everyone must stop learning. Questions, comments on anything that we just learned whatsoever about the halachas of Mincha? We had 12 full sessions on this very important area of halacha, which people do not spend even a quarter of the amount of time that we spent learning.
So I have a question
Yeah.
on this first miscellaneous.
Yes.
So there is an option, not an option, but a suggestion to say amen to the brachos of the chazan, right? And that would be considered your.
Nah, saying amen doesn't. That would only work on brachos that you are obligated, and potentially if someone gets an aliyah on Shabbos, you can listen to every word and then say amen.
It's not
Regular bracha and chazer hashatz, that's not going to count. Some ein kelokenu will count. It's not simple to rely on that stuff.
definitely not the chazar
No, it's
hashatz.
better for you yourself to do it. For sure not
Yeah.
chazer hashatz. For sure not chazer hashatz. And it's best for you to do yourself. David, any questions? David, it's now or never. This is your last chance. It's now or never. You're still on mute.
That's right. That's what we have.
Any questions, comments on all of Hilchos Mincha Shabbos? This is the conclusion of 12 full learning sessions. Nothing?
Actually,
None.
None and
Oh,
done.
no.
David's only got 50 questions before we start. Once we're
But I
done.
want to get a copy of this thing.
What'd you say? What do you say?
I'm gonna get a copy of this the shit.
You want a
get a
copy of
copy of
this
this
Word
shit.
doc?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. That's what I always do. I'm gonna email this. Don't worry about that. Okay. Stop here, like do a little parsha.